So let's say you found the skeleton. How would you tell it to die? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tisdall Tuesday. I am here, as usual, with Chesh for Tisdall Tuesday. It's sort of her show. I mean, it's
Hello.
yeah. I mean, it's on my channel, but like, it was her idea, and I don't entirely know if she knew what she was suggesting when she suggested it, because like, I was like, oh hey, Chesh, I found like 5 or something of these videos, and it's gonna take forever. And Chesh was like, oh no. And yet
Oh no, I have to hang out with Dapper once a month.
That was twice a month, technically.
Twice a month, but with this guy in the way. We hang out weekly now, though. I don't count. I don't count Friday as hanging out. We're both doing too much.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. This is probably the most like regular just me and Chesh hangout in terms of like us getting to interact with just directly with each other without having other people. Not that I'm complaining about those other people. Those people are great. But yeah, that's fair. This is sort of a definitely more.
All of the other stuff that we do together, we're also like talking about like things that are not like us just goofing.
Yeah. Which, remember, just like on Saturdays, if you don't want any young Earth creationism, y'all know how to get it done.
Yeah, it's true.
So let's see. We have a few things. One is Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic, for $5 says, "Last time I was this early, the rapture hadn't happened yet." Yeah, Chesh, how was the second version of the rapture for you that happened? What was it now, like a week ago?
Not enough Christians are gone.
Oh man, yeah. The rapture never seems to take the ones you want, or
no, you know,
any of them really.
We're not allowed to have nice things. It's okay.
I really was thinking, I was like, man, there's no such thing as a rapture, even in the Bible. But right now,
we could use one.
Yeah, it would solve a lot of problems if all the people who believed in the rapture were raptured. Yeah. Yeah, like, okay, bye everybody, we're gonna make a better planet without you. Which, okay, to be fair, I'm sure that there are some lovely, wonderful people who believe in the rapture. I just haven't met them.
I feel like the problem is like, it wouldn't be the people who believe or don't believe in a rapture, it would just be all the people that are like decent, because that's supposed to be the rule. So there'll only be douchebags left.
I mean, you have a point there. You do have a point there. Yeah.
You know. But then then at least the douchebags wouldn't be able to like ride on the shoulders of the good reputations of the Christians that are out there actually trying to live by their dogma and do like good things with their lives.
You mean like helping assist the foreigner and the orphan and the widow, like it says over and over and over in the Bible in multiple books across the entire thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the foreigner is in there, Christians. It's pretty often in there. I don't know. It's a thing you could pay attention to. It might
something about don't throw the first stone, something about having a log in your eye, blah blah blah, yeah. Neighbors and
making sure that the poor, the orphan, the widow, and the foreigner are well taken care of in your country might be the most consistent theme in the entirety of the Bible.
Yep.
And like, hey, if you're gonna pay attention to the Bible, maybe pay attention to that part. I don't know. But I'm not your priest, I suppose.
Unlucky.
Yeah. All right, so we have a few things. First of all, I want to say thank you to both Metageeky and Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic. First of all, Metageeky Platypus Librarian sent 10 gift memberships and is also not feeling too well today. So we wish her well and a speedy recovery. Yeah, she went to bed after sending those like a couple hours before the stream even started. So feel better, Metageeky. I really appreciate your support. And also, you're always fun to have around on the Discord. So, you know, keep up the good work. And also, Metageeky is in fact a librarian, so she's also doing a public service in the sense of keeping libraries going. So, yeah, because
libraries are great. Do recommend.
They are pretty awesome. Also, Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic, has gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. So while I take 15 drinks, Chesh is going to tell you how you can play Dungeons and Dragons new, like you've never played it before, but starting without giving WotC any money at all. You don't have to give them a single cent. Chesh is going to explain that to you. Chesh knows how to do it. Chesh is smart.
There's a couple of ways you can do this. One is yar har fiddly dee, being a pirate is alright with me. The other way is you can actually join my Discord because I've got PDFs of pretty much everything.
Give them some of the legal options, Chesh, instead of encouraging crime.
All I'm saying is that like I have gone out of my way that uses like that to make spreadsheets of like the things from the book to make it a unique enough thing that I am not actually providing just straight up PDFs. I am providing the information in a completely different format that is just sharing. It's just sharing. Or you can just play the game and just make it up as you go, because the rules are open source.
Is there an open source, perhaps Creative Commons document that would allow you to play Dungeons and Dragons that Wizards of the Coast has just put out for free?
I believe that there is. However, I do believe that that is the new edition. So it's like the 2025 edition. So it is going to be the updated one if the updated one is what you want. But if that's not what you want, then just use your older books.
Also, I want to point out that there are a lot of really great third-party options out there, including for classes, subclasses, monsters, players, species, or lineages, or races, or whatever we're calling them this year. Yeah, and also, I want to say thank you to Sapphire, Equatorial Poles Light, and Josh McGeese, who each gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. I have already taken the drinks for them. We're up to 25 already, everybody. It was also,
if Wizards is willing to steal from everybody else, I don't see a moral issue with stealing back from Wizards.
Yeah. Also, hey, if you're a CEO of a company out there, if any of your employees even suggest sending the Pinkertons to anyone's house ever, you should fire that guy and then not send the Pinkertons.
You should do that thing where the comic of throwing the guy out the window.
Yeah. Look, you don't want your company to be the reason why a whole swath of the population finds out that what they thought were just video game bad guys are actually real life bad guys. Don't be that company. It's a really bad move.
Probably don't be that guy.
Yeah, it's really not in your best interest.
I'm not one to tell a multi-million-dollar business what to do, but I'm gonna tell a multi-million-dollar business what to do.
Yeah, don't give a damn. I'll tell them what to do. Okay, there's only a few more things before we actually get into this. One is, I do have a super chat goal. It is for 15 super chats. It will end before the show does, but if we get there, I will drop a Steam key. The Steam key is for the game Mechanicus, which is a turn-based tactical combat game. It's basically the same genre as XCOM, if you're familiar with that, although it is not all that much like XCOM, despite being in the same genre. And it is indeed a Warhammer game, because again, a lot of these are coming from excess Steam keys from a Humble Bundle Warhammer purchase. It is also, I think, one of the better Warhammer games to be released in the last few years. There's a sequel coming. It's really a lot of fun. Also, it drove home to me the fact that I do not pick up on gender cues for video game characters unless they're very obvious. Because I played through that entire game twice before I realized that the Tech Inquisitor Scaevola is a woman. And if you had asked me what Tech Inquisitor Scaevola's gender was before, I'd have been like, I don't know, non-binary? They all seem pretty non-binary to me. They're mostly a bunch of like machine faces, so like, I don't know. But it was similar to when I realized that one of the enemies in Dark Souls 3 was supposed to be a woman. I was like, I just thought it was like an amorphous fat person who gave you fire hugs sometimes. I didn't realize that was supposed to be like
hug,
gender,
the best kind,
right? But yeah, I remember like watching someone's content about Dark Souls 3 and these are women from this temple. I was like, wait, what? Those are women? I just thought they were sort of nothing. Like, no gender, like most of the enemies in the game. Like, okay, sure. And yeah, that was when I first realized, maybe I'm just bad at picking up gender cues in video games. Maybe that's just me. You know,
maybe.
There's worse things that I could have trouble with than gender cues in video games for enemies or NPCs.
You have seen the meme going on around recently, right?
That is so vague
Nope.
that I don't know how to answer it.
It's not. Contextually, it's not vague at all. It's the keep gamers made for with gamers in mind, made with activists in mind.
I don't think I have. You'll have to send it to me.
You haven't seen. I'll send you one example just
Okay.
to give you an idea.
All right, and I will look at it. Lieutenant
Yay.
Matt, practitioner of license plate magic for $5, says, trusted in the strength and certainty of steel, not the marksmanship of XCOM rookies. Yeah. Actually, one thing I will say about Mechanicus is that it has a 100% hit chance unless something weird is happening. So if you are in range, you are going to hit. Your damage may be reduced by armor. Other effects may go off that you didn't expect, but you're going to hit. And I kind of like that. It helps me plan things out a little bit better, and it feels a little bit less random, like I'm actually the one making the tactical decisions. So, yeah. And let's see, have you sent this? Okay, here we go. Oh no. I did hear that there was some kind of... Yeah, I did hear that there was some kind of, like, cloud thing happening, and I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, it wasn't originally about Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. It was like just originally about like, oh, just make all video game women or all women in video games fat material. And so people started responding to it with Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and then it just like has spun out of control.
I mean, look, I'm fine with having sexy women in video games, but, like, I don't feel like that needs to be, like, the hard and fast rule for characters in video games. But, like, on the other hand, look, you want a video game with sexy characters, there's plenty of them out there, both men and women. Just go play those games. I don't care. Whatever you want. I don't know. I feel like, as a society, we need to become less obsessed in both directions about how easy it is to fap to video game characters. Just overall. I feel like too many people are upset about it, and too many people are upset that it's not there. So, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a loser. Anyway. So we have another thing, which is I am trying to push the Patreon. The Patreon is basically the most stable way for me to get any kind of income. It also is the place where I get to keep the most of what people send to me. So YouTube takes a 30% cut. Patreon, it varies a little bit based on like transaction fees and stuff like that, but it's close. It's about 90% most of the time. Which means every time that I see that my per month value has gone up on Patreon, I'm going to increase the funding by 2 times as many as it has gone up by. Now I do that because when you pledge, it doesn't quite go up by exactly the amount. Like if you go and pledge like $10, it only goes up by about 9, which means I'm going to be putting in $18 on. So, yeah, if you were ever thinking that maybe you wanted to join the Patreon, it's a pretty good time to do that. Also, let's see. If we get to the fancy avatar number, I will drop I will drop a Steam key. It will probably be a second one, but I can't guarantee. Yeah. And if we get to the Dapper 2-2 level, which we probably won't, but if we did, I will treat myself to a nice special gift for me. Because, I don't know, I'm worth it. But only if I can actually get enough of the funding. Because I'm not actually worth it without that. Because of finances. But hey, Dutch Place of Hostilities Tunicate for $5 says, the craziest thing to me is that these people will say women like Ciri from New Witcher are ugly. Really?
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's one of the ways it started.
And it makes me question if they like women.
They don't. Short answer.
Yeah, that is probably
They don't like women.
That'll drink for the Godzilla. Joshua Geese for $5 says, can confirm Patreon is more bon. It is more bon. I agree. All right, so and then Pegajace Cryogenic. Hold on, is making it a pain in the butt to see the full name. Cryogenic Canine Claws. There we go. Sent a Dapper Dinosaur membership. Well, thank you, and we'll take a drink for that too. Yeah. The way I have usually been keeping track of how many or what super chats I get is there's a viewer activity tab on the studio here in YouTube. They also moved the chat revenue, which I use to keep track of the little thermometer thing. They moved that to a different tab. It used to just be up near your video, and you couldn't switch away from it. Always there. And so now I have to switch between tabs, but it likes to just not load the viewer activity tab when I switch over to it. So I have to occasionally just refresh the entire window that has my studio in it. It's really annoying. Yeah, thanks YouTube. Again, I feel like eventually, like in 5 years, YouTube is just going to be completely unusable for creators.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they think.
I've had to explain to lawyers in court how YouTube works, and it's and like how the YouTube studio functions, and it's like it's a chore, needless to say.
It's too bad that you didn't get Devin, the legal eagle. He would understand.
He would understand, yeah, but that would not. Yeah, that would have been cool, but no.
Yeah. Okay.
I would have loved to see Legal Eagle fighting with Steve. Yeah, Steve was at one point trying to, I guess, tell the opposing lawyer and his own lawyer that he had removed videos and that it was really hard to like get the videos and find the videos that he was supposed to remove. And I'm like, I can see whether or not you've removed a video or if you've just privated it, right?
Right.
And also you can literally sort by name or by date and see your entire log. Like, who are you? Who do you think you're lying to, Steve?
The answer is he thinks he's lying to the court, which is a real bad idea.
Real bad idea.
Don't do it. All right, so we do in fact have a video to watch, and we do have drinking rules to explain. So as you've already seen, we will take a drink if anyone gifts memberships. 1 drink per membership gifted. If we get to about 30 in the queue, though, I'm just going to finish this drink and go grab another one, and then increment the counter. We will also take a drink if anyone super chats or membership chats anything with any of our kaiju emojis. We have Godzilla, we have Mothra, and we have King Ghidorah. I think at least 2 of those, well, 3 actually. No, 2 of those at least are going to be in the next movie we watch after the show.
Nice.
We will also take a drink if Mothra or Godzilla come by audibly, which is a semi-random event that can happen. We will also take a drink if anyone super chats or membership chats anything to the effect that answers in Genesis are a bag of dicks. We have an emoji just for that if you want to make it easy on yourself. Or you just want to save character limit. That also is easy. Also, we will take a drink anytime Laurence Tisdall, who's who we're talking about, says something so stupid we just kind of have to for, like brain coolant purposes. We will also take a drink if Laurence actually tells a joke that doesn't land or tells a story that didn't happen. The story one is a little bit of a judgment call, and if we get it wrong, I don't care. Does Dapper count as a kaiju now? No, I don't think I'm big enough. Well, I guess technically kaiju just means monster, and daikaiju is the more technical term for a giant monster. But I don't...
By that logic, I'm a kaiju.
Why?
Because I'm a monster.
Because you're a goblin?
Rawr.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you mean by monster. So maybe I'm a kaiju. Anyway, we'll also take a drink if Laurence Tisdall, almost said Kent Hovind, if Laurence Tisdall says something that's actually true and he's not just reading it off from some source, it's actually in his brain. We'll also take a drink if he mentions that political party from, like the 1930s over in Germany that were really popular there. Gooey Duck, because I know how to read, Geoscience has just joined at the Tetrapod level. Welcome, Geoduck Science. Who also, if I remember correctly, has their own channel, which has some science educational stuff there. So check that out, everybody. Let's see. We will also take a drink if Laurence Tisdall talks about what we can know about Lucy, the Australopithecus afarensis specimen, based just on her skeleton, versus what we can know about any wider taxon to which she belongs, and confuses those two things. So, for instance, if he says that, well, we don't know if Australopithecus could walk upright because Lucy didn't have any feet. Yeah, we call that an ad hominid. We take a drink, and we only get one of those per stream. We also have Trojan Source. If Laurence Tisdall cites a source, and we look it up, and not only does that source fail to support him, but if it actively contradicts him, we take a drink for Trojan Source. Also, if either Chesh or I can guess what Laurence is going to be arguing next, where it's not very obvious, then we will take a drink. All right. So right now I am seeing that I have had one new $1 pledge on the Patreon. Unfortunately, it was in that area where it didn't quite add to the number here, so I am leaving it where it is. But I think that also means if I got 1 or 2 more $1 pledges, it would probably go up. So again, if you are interested in the Patreon, now is a great time. It is linked in the description. Check it out. It has lots of cool perks. Anyway, Chesh,
Yeah.
are you likely to become more prepared for this than you are now within the next 2 minutes?
No. I
All right.
could theoretically, but I'm not likely to.
Okay. And I'm going to hit play. In case anyone doesn't remember, which is probably going to be everyone, we were just talking about giraffes, and Laurence seemed confused as to whether or not current scientists are teaching Lamarckism or not, as well as what is actually involved in the evolution of a long neck, as well as whether or not multiple aspects of an organism can undergo selection at the same time in tandem. He was very confused about all of those things. And also, Ashley Mitochondrial Eve, who's been a member for 7 months and is at the Tetchpod level, says AIG is a bag of YouTube. And I'll take a drink for that. That works.
Yeah, let's go. Once I'm done this, I'll and we had enough super chats, I'll go get a shot of rum.
Nice. Yeah, YouTube
That's my drinking plan for today.
YouTube has been making it hard to run a YouTube channel lately. It's one of the reasons I'm trying to push the Patreon, because that doesn't depend on them. So yeah. I'll be honest with you. This is the second down month in a row, and I probably don't have a huge number of those left before this channel isn't sustainable. So if YouTube doesn't stop squashing everybody, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
YouTube doesn't stop being a bag of dicks.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, it's not immediate. It's not panic mode, but it's a real concern that I have. I'm now looking at like how much longer can I keep doing this if the trend like this continues, and the answer is probably less than a year.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic for $5 says the reason the Lucy specimen has no feet is that Quentin Tarantino got there first. Could be. Although, wasn't that discovered before he was born? It doesn't matter. Here's Laurence.
And yet Stephen Gould in 1996 says the spotty evidence...
I should just make it a drink trigger to drink whenever someone mentions Stephen Gould.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a drink for it, because like, my goodness.
Yep.
Did they know he wasn't
Stephen
like the saint of... He's not like Saint Stephen Gould of evolution or something, right? Like, we don't particularly care what he said.
This is a consistent thing that creationists tend to not understand at all. It's probably intentional.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to believe it's not intentional at the very least.
Josh McGee says, is there another platform you could use? Yeah, there is. But they are all way, way, way smaller.
Yeah.
Like, I could use Rumble, and then you could get ads for free energy scams in front of my videos. But, like, I wouldn't get any money from it. And that's the problem, right? It's like, yeah, I could move to a different platform, and I would still have to scale the channel back.
The same problem would still, yeah.
It would probably be worse.
Yeah.
Because no one goes to Rumble. Well, except for the exact people I don't want watching my video. They go to Rumble.
And I think Twitch has the same kind of problem as well, actually.
It's also harder to get monetized on Twitch, and you make less per like donation on Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get pretty large before it gets to the point where it kind of balances out.
And also, Twitch donations go through like a stupid like secondary Twitch only currency, and I hate that crap.
Oh yeah, it's
like buying premium
internet
currency.
content creation is becoming not sustainable.
Yeah, it's basically they're squeezing out the middle. People who are making an okay living doing that are having a hard time doing that. People who are just doing it as a hobby and it was only ever just some extra income, they're fine because they don't really care. And the people who are like making millions and millions of views per video, they're doing fine too. It's people like this, like me. Olivia Williams, who's been a member for 41 months and is at the Touch World level, says, yeah, I wouldn't go on Rumble with a Ghidorah. I have only ever gone on Rumble for very specific purposes.
Same.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go.
I still over Rumble. Rumble's a nightmare.
It is. I don't recommend going to Rumble unless you absolutely have to. Like when I was trying to keep track of a Creationist who was trying to scrub most of his presence off the internet because he looked like he was going to be the next mass shooter.
Yeah.
And he talked like he was going to be the next mass shooter.
Yeah.
And he was writing a whole bunch of those Young Earth Evolution articles for AIG, and I didn't want anyone to know about that.
Yeah.
Took his name off the articles, but you can still tell it was him. He's got a very distinctive writing style. Anyway, here we go.
This gives no insight into how the long-necked modern species arose. The standard story, in fact, is both fatuous and unsupported.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing here. You notice how there's an ellipsis in the middle? And this says pages 18 to 23.
See it, I don't know what you're talking about.
54 to 57. Now, here's the thing. When trying to find my place for this video, did in fact try to find this source, because I went past our spot in the video and this came up. Not only is this not, as far as I can tell, available online without an actual like .edu email address, and even then, only through non-English language websites, which is weird. I only found Spanish, Russian, and what was it? It was Norwegian. Was the other language I found.
Fun.
Yeah. So it's basically impossible to check this source. But also, the way he's citing it makes me think that the two sections of his sentence are separated by, more than 30 pages. Which makes me suspect that this might be what you call a Franken quote. Because, normally an ellipsis is so you can leave out, like, up to a sentence or so that doesn't really help out with what you're trying to convey, but also doesn't really add any important context that changes the meaning of what you're putting in there. But technically, there's not actually a hard limit as to how long you can have between your ellipses. But what happens when you go a really, really long way is you get what's called a Franken quote, where you're just sticking two unrelated sentences together and trying to make a new point that the original author would not have. Now, I've not been able to find an actual copy that I could read of this, so I can't say exactly what Stephen Gould is saying. However, we actually do have a pretty good fossil record now for giraffids. In fact, we kind of did when he wrote this, which was in 1996. And so I don't know what Stephen Jay Gould is getting at, assuming that this is an actual accurate quotation of him that is not taken out of context.
When talking about the giraffe.
Morgan Poria says, want me to launch a volley of photons at YouTube headquarters? The parcel is not the torpedoes. I mean, if it's actual just photons, then I guess whatever. I don't think it'll help. If it's torpedoes, then no, because that would defeat the whole purpose. Oh, and hey, we just got a $5 Sapphire Light joined as and one other, and Macy Justiniano. So thank you very much. So what we're gonna do is I am going to increase the I have it under the GoFundMe section of the fundraising file, but like that's just because I labeled it that. I can use it for whatever I want. It's my file.
All I'm hearing is Dapper really doesn't want to watch this, man.
Well, okay, that's not untrue. But it's not the only reason I'm saying these things. Shut up, Chesh. I'm gonna play, you jerk.
1996. I think there's been enough time for it to filter down into our teacher's manuals.
Yeah, but the problem is, first, okay, so one of the things I want to point... Oh, hey, Garth Noble. Wait, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Garth Noble? Noble? I don't know. But welcome to Tetrapod. Thank you very much. What is it that hasn't filtered down to the textbooks? Because you got to remember that what Laurence was saying was that textbooks are still using a Lamarckian explanation for the giraffe neck as the actual current scientific position on how giraffes evolve, which they're not doing. Instead, they're using giraffes as an example of something Lamarck would have used to explain how his theory works, and then they're going on to explaining why his idea doesn't work. And this is usually in the context of the history of the development of the theory of evolution. And that hasn't been filtered out of textbooks, because in that use, it's not wrong. Now, it is the case that it's hard to find anywhere where Lamarck actually used giraffes as an example himself, but they're still an easy to understand example, so I get why they're still used, even if it wasn't one of his favorite examples. So basically, Laurence neither understands the problem, nor the solution, nor what Stephen Jay Gould is saying, most likely.
I don't quite understand how this man managed to pass to get his degree, given like the context.
Well, I have. Oh, hey, drink for Mothra.
Hey,
There is one distinct possibility that I can think of, and it's that he's currently, at this moment, lying.
oh,
Yeah.
you
Also,
mean people would just come onto the internet and lie? What?
yeah, actually, as it turns
You
out,
wouldn't just do that.
yeah. Also, I want to say thank you to Pegajace for upgrading their patron level from Amniote to Soropsid. In case you're wondering, Amniote is the $5 level. Soropsid is the $8 level. Basically, the higher you give, the smaller a clade and the closer to being a Ceratosaurus you get. So it starts Tetrapod, then it goes to Amniote, then it goes to Soropsid, then it goes to Diapsid, then it goes to Archosaur. And technically, it can go to Dinosaur, which is the $100 a month, but no one is silly enough to give me $100 a month to make internet videos.
I feel like you're telling me it starts with one.
It does start with $1. That's the Tetrapod level, yeah.
One thing. You don't know why. It doesn't even matter.
Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic, for $5 says, fun fact, we have a single species family that's a sister taxon to Giraffidae here in North America. That's true. Yeah, Antilocapridae has the pronghorn in it. I think even the frozen wastelands of Canada have a few pronghorn, which I don't know what they eat up there. I guess lichen, since it's.
I don't know. I found out. Oh, remember, I promised I would tell you about this. The pigloos.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so you know how like there's a wild boar problem in the United States?
Yes, I'm very aware.
Yeah, it's become a little bit of a problem up here as well. And
no.
it's like, oh, but what does that mean? How are they able to do this in Canada? They bury themselves in the snow. They like shimmy their ways down in what we as Canadians have decided to call pigloos. So
Aha.
basically they've become ambush wild boars that
Jeez.
are like covered in like ice and they're
Once they get
like a
snipers, it's all
regional
over
variant.
for Canada.
Oh man. And so I just can't believe we've got this issue that is clearly an issue that's like, you know, this kind of thing gets people killed. And what did we call it? Pigloos. Why? Because we are a very unserious group of people.
Yes. I also want to say thank you to Jason Hyatt for joining at the Tetrapod level and giving us another $1 on the counter there. Thank you very much.
Yahoo!
All right.
Shame.
What do you mean shame? You just pointing out that you don't understand what you're talking about isn't shameful for anyone but you. All right, let's see what birth defects he's going to blame on mutation, which are primarily not the cause of not caused by mutation. Here we go.
Mutations. Well, how would you want a system?
Wow.
You know, we know what mutations cause.
Yeah, they cause almost none of this. Okay, so what are we looking at? The vast majority of what we're looking at is failed twinning episodes, right? So where you see people like that sheep down at the bottom, or the duck. Most of that is failed twinning. So when an embryo starts, when identical twins form, right? Usually what happens is very shortly after the zygote starts to divide, you get a separation between the two balls of cells, which will then each go on to develop an entire animal on their own. But because they're genetically identical, sometimes they can come back together and fuse back together, and then they end up sending rather confused signals to all of the genes that control how the animal is supposed to grow. And what that can mean is that you set up multiple competing axes of symmetry and multiple competing axes for things like ventral dorsal axis and the anterior posterior axis. What that will result in is the development of extra body parts, whether it be heads, arms, legs, things like that. Also, take another drink for Mothra. It can also result in things like what seems like primarily separate organisms, but that are connected at certain parts of their anatomy. Things like that. So you might get like what looks like two fully formed organisms, but that are joined at, say, the hip, head, or on the torso somewhere. And so that's what is happening most of the time here. In a few other instances, you can get it as a result of parasites. So this happens a lot in frogs. Frogs, if they're infected by certain parasites while they're tadpoles, can have their development into adults disrupted in a similar way, which can result in supernumerary limbs, not a mutation. So the majority of what we're seeing here is not mutations. Now, some of them are. For instance, it looks like we have one picture of a boy with Down syndrome. That is generally a primary mutation, where part of a chromosome is duplicated, and that's the 23rd chromosome. And so there's a third chromosome, often a partial 23rd chromosome, which can result in Down syndrome. In syndactyly, that is often a mutation. It's often heritable, and it's also usually not that like life-shattering for someone who has syndactyly, which is just fingers that grow together. It's inconvenient sometimes. You're going to have a hard time finding gloves. But there are also entire people groups in the world where syndactyly is pretty common, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really greatly impact their lives in some negative way. Now, there's a picture of a baby with what looks like a partially formed nostril. I have no idea what's causing that. So out of all of these, I can only be confident in saying that one group of them, and that is the one with the syndactyly as well as the too few toes, that is likely the result of a mutation, as well as Down syndrome, which is kind of mutation, although calling a chromosomal abnormality a mutation is a little weird. I'll let it go. It's fine. So, yeah, most of what we're seeing here is not mutations.
Most of what we're getting right now is rhetoric that's presenting these images as if they're like horrific in some way, and they're really not for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to be, conjoined to my twin at like the jaw. Would probably suck.
Yes.
But
yeah, like there are things that are like not great about some of these scenarios that we're talking about, but like most of this is just fear mongering.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, we got a couple.
And like fear mongering in when was this video? Not that long ago, right? It was like
it wasn't that long ago. I think.
Fear mongering about somebody with Down syndrome is kind of cringe.
Yeah. Let's see. Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic for $5, says, "But can their hooves survive immersion in liquid nitrogen?" No. Actually, just like Arctic wolf paws can't, neither can anybody's hooves. Inappropriately capitalizing stuff for 200 Argentinian pesos says, "I don't remember Siamese twins being in any way related to mutations. They're not. Although currently in English, we're generally saying conjoined. But the fact that I can drink milk as an adult without getting upset definitely is also correct. I'm living proof of beneficial mutations. Yeah. Any human who can digest milk as anything later than like 5 or 6 years old, yeah, that's because of one of 2 mutations that are common in humans, which allow for the persistence of lactase production. Also, Borg Emporia, who's been around for 24 months, says, "Take a drink for the Goblin Queen Shesh and her willingness to produce Star Trek Endurance with a Godzilla, a disgusting pelagic tunicate, a Mothra, and also a pet talk." Who's the pet talk?
If Dapper's gonna do the work to put the game together, spend the money on the books, I am willing to put in enough effort to make DMing easier for him.
I did spend like over $100 on Star Trek books for this.
You did.
Yeah.
You madman.
Yeah, I know. Look, there's a reason that I say that the money that channel makes goes towards helping support me continuing to do the shows on the channel, because I spend way more on the shows for Top Hats Off than I do on the shows here.
Oh yeah,
by a lot.
Because books.
Yeah, well, like I've said, it's one of the more unfortunate aspects of TTRPGs as a hobby that GMs buy everything.
Yeah,
players sometimes buy the core rulebook. Sometimes, usually they don't.
It's one of those things that also like you don't want or don't need to necessarily have more than like one copy, right?
Usually you don't. Yeah.
They cause problems.
Some mutations cause problems. Most mutations do nothing. What you've pictured isn't primarily mutations, but some mutations are beneficial. We know. We've seen it happen in labs, in the wild, in history.
There are 3 systems on the genetic code to correct for errors, so that when it's being reproduced, which happens many times, I'll show you a film later on, hopefully, shows you all these different ways of correcting, and just one mistake and you get all these issues. Now, there are parts of the genetic code that are pre-programmed to allow change. Otherwise, we'd all be clones.
What? I'm drinking for too stupid.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's trying to get at. The only thing I can think of is he's talking about mutation hotspots, which are a thing, but calling them pre-programmed to accept change is dumb as hell.
But he's also implying that parents don't exist.
Is he?
Yeah, because otherwise we would all be clones. No, we wouldn't.
See, I think he was saying in that there would never be new genetic variation introduced into the species.
Right, but he's saying that that's because of mutation, not because of breeding.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm just giving him too much credit.
Maybe breeding is the mutation.
Yeah, could be. Goop23 for $5 says, "Look at the scary mutants." Shows someone who is just like a guy. Yeah.
Yes, he's talking like he's the governor from X-Men.
Oh no.
He's gonna get gotted by Magneto, and he's gonna deserve it.
Oh, hey, we're actually we are almost halfway to the fancy avatar. We could actually do it today.
Hey, let's go!
Yeah. Oh, also, I did promise someone in my Discord that I would include spooky options for the fancy avatar because it is indeed October. So if we get
Gelly
there,
Dapper,
I will do both Ghost Dapper and Dormammu Dapper as options that you can vote for the poll.
Dormammu, I have come to bargain.
Yeah. Have you seen my Dormammu Dapper?
No.
It's pretty. I mean, I think it looks a lot like if Dormammu were a Ceratosaurus.
I like it. I'm already on board.
Well, I mean, you're not on board enough to just donate the several $100s that we need.
No, I'm not that on board.
Okay, so you're.
I won't lie to you. I'm not that on board.
You're just standing by on the pier, leaning on a bollard.
I'm cheerleading.
Okay, from the pier.
Yeah, away.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that too nautical? Did I get too nautical?
Don't talk to me about nautical right now. I did a test last week and I had a really bad time.
But do you know what a bollard is?
Yes. No? Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Do you know not to call it a rope, but to call it a line?
Yes.
Do you know which way starboard is?
No.
Do you know which way forward
I probably
is?
do if I thought about it long enough. What?
Do you know which way forward is?
Isn't it whatever way the boat's facing?
Yes. But can you spell bosun?
No.
No one can spell bosun.
Could I spell anything? Also no.
I've seen you spell things.
I spell things sometimes.
Yeah. Look,
I'm telling you, this man just doesn't want to hit play.
I mean, not entirely wrong. I'll just say this.
Yeah.
You usually make more sense in our DMs than I do when I'm high.
That's true. I can spell at least as well as High Dapper.
You know what the problem is for High Dapper? Is that he never double checks the autocorrect on swipes. So it's always just whatever happens first is just what's going to happen. And he's going to hit send. And the idea that maybe he should recheck, just not a thing.
Does not occur.
Does not occur.
Nope.
Also, we're only 6 super chats away from me dropping the Mechanicus Steam key. Which, again, a really good game. Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of License Plate Magic, says, "What is a futtok?"
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like a term I'm familiar with.
It's like when you have sex including the butt, but without any insertion.
Like just between the cheeks.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Look, I'm not going to king shame.
That would work, right? Like that tracks. I'm really good at games like Boulder Dash.
We got more Mothra.
Hey, let's go.
Thank you, Mothra. And like, I don't know, I'm not going to tell people what to do when they're having fun with their partners.
Done that for variability, and it helps us also adapt to different environments. And so there are parts of our genetic code.
Okay, so he's saying that there are parts of the genetic code which do mutate on purpose, which is not how mutations work. They don't happen on purpose. But that those are sections where mutations are likely to cause adaptations. But why? what is it about those sections that are more likely to cause adaptations than other sections? Are they, like, in genes? Are there certain genes that are allowed to mutate and others aren't? Are they in intergenic regions? In which case, how would they cause new adaptations if they're primarily not going to actually cause any change in the phenotype because they're mostly in junk regions?
I have another question. Why is some adaptation not counting as mutation and or evolution in this scenario that he's proposing?
That's another good question. Like, I mean, maybe he'll explain it, but so far, none of this is anything that any geneticist would recognize.
Maybe he'll explain something one day.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
To be fair, this is only the first video that we've ever watched of this man. So, like, you know, maybe he's gonna get there. Maybe he's still in his introduction.
And hey, we just recently passed the halfway point. So you've got at least 6 more of these episodes before we get to the next video. You're stuck with me for life, Jesh.
That's fine. There are worse options.
Yeah.
And epigenetics is finding more about this, they're hotspots. They're made to change, so they allow changes. But there are other parts, you put something in there and you have cancer because it doesn't know where the stop code is, and it just keeps reproducing, using up all the available new elements, and then you die.
I mean, that is part of what causes cancer. It's a little oversimplified, and saying it doesn't have the stop code is a little dumb.
I'm not dropping the F-bomb, but he basically is just saying shit happens, then you die, as if it's like means anything in this context.
Robert S. says, do we know where his balls are? No, we don't. The balls are still missing. And I'm hoping they're still going to be missing next week because I already made the thumbnail because I woke up in a panic on Monday morning at 3:30 a.m. and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't make a thumbnail for Tuesday, it's tomorrow. And so I got up, I drank a freaking Monster, I started working on a thumbnail about how this man has no balls, and then I go check to see what the number is on the episode, and I'm like, oh,
I've already got it.
I've already got this. This is already good. So I just saved it and scheduled next month's Tisdall Tuesday. And then I was like, all right, well, I guess I have the rest of my day off.
No.
And then I went to bed at 7 p.m. And then at like 9:30, Vishanti messaged me and was like, hey, you want to watch something? And I was already asleep. Sorry, Vishanti.
Womp womp.
Yep, this is all my stupid brain's fault for making me up in a panic. Oh no!
Ah!
Yeah, I was not happy as I'm making this thumbnail. Thumbnails? No, I didn't. Didn't even forget. When I try to take a weekend, this is the kind of crap that happens. Inappropriately capitalizing stuff for 200 Argentinian pesos says, the only explanation I got is that God made creatures with the genetic potential to adapt. When I asked how that potential is actually realized, then it's silence. Also, Dapper said balls. I did say balls. Yeah, I don't think he actually. I don't think he actually knows enough about genetics to understand why this doesn't really mean anything.
No.
Also, only five remember, or what is it? 28 minutes, and if we can get 5 more super chats at $5 or above, then I will drop the Steam key.
I would like to point out that first off, we've been very nice to this man.
Have we?
And second off, yeah, we have.
Okay.
Listen, we are allowed, as far as I'm concerned at this point, we're allowed to basically say anything we want about this guy after he posted that teaching PDF.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, that was pretty egregious.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. All right.
So I think we're allowed to do whatever we want.
That's probably true, yeah.
Human genetic
I think I was going to say something else, but I forget.
is increasing. That's disorder.
Oh, human genetic entropy. I'm just going to take a drink for genetic entropy.
Okay.
Hey, genetic entropy isn't a thing. And when I say it's not a thing, I mean, it's been proven mathematically. And when I say proven, I mean in the sense that, like, the Pythagorean theorem has been proven mathematically. I I don't often use mathematical levels of certainty when I'm talking about science topics, but this is one of those times. Genetic entropy isn't a thing in the same way that you can't have a right angle triangle that doesn't have a squared and b squared equal to c squared in Euclidean space. It's just not real. It's mathematically incoherent. It doesn't work.
3 to 5 fitness decline per generation. That's a big problem.
It's also not true. Okay.
This straw man I've made is awfully problematic. What are we going to do about it, Dapper?
That's a good question.
Next question.
So here's what declining fitness is identical to. It's identical to a shrinking population. Chesh, are there more humans to this year than there were at this time last year? Or are there fewer humans at this time this year than there were last year?
I think there's more if
Yeah.
you're talking globally.
Globally. I mean globally. Yep.
Yeah.
So is the human population declining in fitness? No. If it were, the population would be declining. Sorry. I'm sure.
And even a population decline isn't even necessarily a bad thing anyway.
I mean, yeah, look, there's probably a lot of people, and maybe we don't need as many people as we have. And maybe if, I don't know, people had fewer kids, maybe that'd be good.
Well, we just need to be better at resource management.
Well, that's it. But, yeah, human fitness just isn't declining. So where is he getting that from?
I don't know. I think he just made it up. His butt.
M. Lynch and Rate. I don't know who those are. I don't care. Roshan Apri, Volcano Killer, who's been a member for 25 months and is at that tetrapod level, says, I'm cold, depressed, and wet. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I'm sorry about at least 2 of those things. I would probably need more context to know if I'm sorry about the third one. But I'm presuming that I am. It's probably
That's
because
fair.
of rain. The cold.
Well,
So,
snuggle up.
yeah. Get a warm blanket and a towel. And
Maybe a drink.
Maybe a drink and hang out with us. Templar Warden for 5 New Zealand dollars, that's Kiwi bucks, says if mutation is instant cancer and DNA is specific, as he said, how can genetic entropy be true? Yeah, that's another great question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it can. That seems like a contradiction right there. Like, maybe that's impossible.
Like maybe he's talking to both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't even thought about that. And only 4 super chats away. We have 24 minutes. I think we can do it. I think you guys can earn that Mechanicus Steam key.
And this has been published in 2010.
Okay, so we know the talk is after 2010.
True.
With the inability of mutations of any type to produce new genetic information.
Which is also not true. Okay, first of all, has he defined genetic information? No, because no creationist is ever going to define genetic information. Because, quite frankly, anytime you actually define it in a way where we can then go and test any of the claims about it, we can find, with almost no effort at all, that the claim made about, oh, you can't get new genetic information just isn't true. So, if we just define genetic information as how big the genome is, like how many books it would fill up if you had to write it all out, well, I mean, genomes get bigger all the time. Every insertion mutation is an increase in genetic information by that definition. If we decide to say that it's the number of genes, well, new genes evolve. We've seen it in real time in real organisms. We know how they evolve. We know where they come from. They primarily come from neofunctionalization of previously junk regions of the genome, where some mutation will occur, and what was once no reading frame at all suddenly gains an open reading frame. And suddenly that aspect of the genome starts to be transcribed and translated into protein. And from there, natural selection can take over to, shape that protein into something that's highly functional. Also, whole gene and whole genome duplications can occur. And if you want to say, well, that's just duplication of the existing genetic material. Okay, but we also know that afterwards, some of those genes can mutate to become new proteins that also have function. In fact, one of the easiest places to see this is in certain domesticated crops, like potatoes, tomatoes, and grapes, all of which share a common ancestor, which had a whole genome duplication. And now, various lineages in that group, which have 2 basically identical versions of their genome, do actually have certain unique proteins that have evolved on one copy of the genome versus the other. And so we have seen also in that lineage of plants, new genes come about. If it's just like some kind of nebulous how I feel, well, okay, great, that's not scientific, so I don't care.
Vibe check.
Yeah. If what you're saying is, well, I haven't seen evolution past the vibe check, I'm just gonna say, well, evolution isn't looking for your vibe check, so who cares?
Other thing too. You understand, like, by you I mean you people. Understand that when this guy is out here saying things like, oh, they have this problem with the genes and how problematic mutations are, quote unquote, blah 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 blah, and he's saying that evolution isn't true at the same time, he is now making the statement, or at least the concession, that God made these mutations that are super duper bad for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, God.
Oops. I guess.
Lieutenant Matt practitioner.
Did God did he sneeze and get like God's snot in the
It's part of the fall, Chesh. Before the fall, there were no mutations. I've actually heard creationists say that.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much. I kind of figured that would be the go-to, but maybe that was a setup. If you interpret it that way.
I mean, it's pretty easy to interpret it that way.
I like that's one way. I think there's an interpretation that I saw recently. I have to look it up again because it was kind of interesting. And it was an interpretation of that, like, no, the entire intent was not that there is actually a fall. It's just that once you've eaten the apple, everything after that is now the process of humans learning and the process of knowledge.
You know, I'm going to make an executive decision. In addition to dropping the Steam key, I will also drop the F-bomb limit so Chesh can actually express herself.
Oh, so this fucking guy.
Wait, I didn't say I was doing it yet. You just gave our only one definite free one away.
You tricked me.
I didn't trick you. You just didn't pay enough attention.
You tricked me. It's not fair.
It is fair. You just have to pay more attention.
No. No.
Yep. All right.
Dapper's bullying me.
I'm always bullying you, and yet you still show up. When have I ever been not bullying you in the several years that you've known me? Yeah, exactly. See? Kent Jeffrey of Arimathea Halstead for $4.99 says, Dapper knows more about genetics than all young Earth creations combined and quadrupled. You know, I would like to say that can't be true, but based on their output, it seems to actually be true.
Brother, you could ghost write for Ken Ham, and he would never know.
I would do a better job of arguing for creationism than Ken Ham would.
Yes.
I know enough science to avoid the easy pitfalls that he makes.
Did you see that he wrote gross things about Jane Goodall?
No, I don't want to. I don't.
We're going to talk about that on Friday. Not next Friday, next Friday.
Pillowpunk for $5 says, don't be unreasonable, Dapper. If we define terms, the goalposts stop moving. That's unfair to creationists.
No, we can't have that. Also, that's illegal.
Hey, good news, Jesh. Narondoputz just put in the super chat that you needed to now be able to say the F-bomb freely.
Yay!
All right, and the super chat is, for $5, something, 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 something else. Something, something. Oh. Couldn't agree more with you, chap.
I agree.
Chap works? I don't know. Templar Warden for $5 Kiwi says, well, frick, gotta fund that F-bomb. But hey, Mechanicus is a good game, and Mechanicus 2 is on the horizon. It sure is, and speaking of Mechanicus, here comes a Steam key. Now, here's the rules on the Steam key. It is first come, first serve. You do not have to be a member. You don't have to be a patron. You don't have to have super chatted. You just have to be quick on the trigger finger. Copy it, pop it into your Steam, and then please at me so I know that you got it. Because I want to know that someone actually got the thing. And if no one ats me, but someone redeemed it, then I'm going to be sitting around saying, hey, can you at me, please? I want to make sure someone actually got it. So here we go. And let's see. Oh, hey, Vishanti's here. I'm always lurking, Triceratops. Volcanoes don't equal pointy fire rocks. It's true. Vishanti is often lurking. I don't know what always. Let's see. We got another super chat for 25 Polish. Zloty? I can't speak Polish. I'm sorry, Poles. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to learn Polish Every once in a while, people are like, "Hey, you want to learn my language?" I'm like, in an ideal world where I had an infinite lifespan, yeah, sure, I do want to learn your language. I don't live in that world, so no, I'm sorry.
Am I going to be living in that country soon?
Yeah,
No.
basically.
No.
I mean, hell, I know more French than I really need to for any time I'm likely to move to any place that speaks French primarily.
Yeah.
Same is true for Arabic. I do not have plans to ever move to a place where Arabic is the main language, and yet I still know some Arabic.
Polish is actually pretty common where I live.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, maybe if I decide to move to the weird goblin cave that you live in, I will learn some Polish.
All right.
Okay. Miracle in the Scientific Sense, Klippo, for 25 Polish zloty says, I was lamenting today that I effed up my Oh, that's just a typo for mine. Effed up my circadian rhythm so bad, 4 a.m. here, but well, at least I can catch Dapper. Hey, I do appreciate it.
Hey.
And I am sorry about your circadian rhythm. I know how that feels. Because like I said,
I've never even had one of those.
yeah, this woman, she will be up at like 4 a.m. her time. And I'll just be like, oh, that's a decimal point error. Pay no attention to that.
I didn't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we're still going to take a Dapper as a professional drink for it.
Hey, let's go.
Evan says, thanks for the Steam key. Awesome. Evan, I'm glad that you got it. Please enjoy.
Congrats.
I think it's a really fun game. And hey, fun fact. It's not the only copy of Mechanicus that I have to give out on this channel. So stay tuned. The next key that I have to give out, which will be if we get the fancy avatars, will be a Steam key for Vermintide 2, the game Chesh has. So maybe if you play your cards right, she'll play it with you. Probably not, though.
Like, you set me up and immediately like, nah.
Well, I did just say maybe, and then I was like, yeah,
maybe, and then immediately backpedaled.
I didn't completely backpedal. I said, but probably not. So it's still a maybe.
I'm telling you, this man really doesn't want to hit play on this video.
This is more of a, so you're telling me there's a chance kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can convince me, I'm not beyond convincing.
She is beyond convincing when it comes to Space Marine 2, though. I'm like,
you're so greedy.
Yeah, I want to hang out with my friend and play cool video games. How horrible of me.
I want to bully you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to bully you about, like, not getting to, like, the next location or, like, sucking at killing Tyranids or something. Yeah. Or, like, every single time you get grabbed by a Lictor or a Terminator, I will absolutely make fun of you. Yeah. And every time I get grabbed by a Lictor or a Terminator, I'm going to have a great excuse as to why it's not my fault.
If you guys put it in the chat, I will make Dapper play Overcooked with me.
I don't even know how that would work, but okay.
I know how it would work, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of License Plate Magic for $5 says, what's the difference between 150 million year lifespan and eternal life? One lasts a whole lot longer, is the answer to that question. A whole lot longer. Yep. All right, here we go.
So you're changing existing information, but you're not creating anything new.
Yeah. Dude, okay. If I change the words to a book such that it no longer reads the same, I've got new information there. I don't know how else would that be the case, right? Like, I'll give an example of a different kind of information. Chesh, you ever open up an image file and then edit it and then save it?
Yeah.
Is that the same image?
No.
Does it have new information?
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you might even have not saved it over the original image. You might have now 2 copies of different images.
I might have both.
Yeah. I frequently
Why not both?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maintenance of the basic plan is to be expected. There are limits to biological change, and these limits are set by the structure and function of the genetic machinery.
You know, I just realized we haven't even taken a break, and I think you're supposed to go get some rum. And
I am. I've been waiting.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break. There's going to be a teaser trailer for the next episode of Star Trek Endurance, which has Chesh in it, if you can even believe that. Yep. And then, if it takes that long, we'll have a little bit of Beethoven music, and then we'll be back, and I will repeat once again why it's so important that the Patreon helps the channel to survive, because YouTube sucks.
Wow, that was a really long explanation that you gave anyway.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be right back.
Yeah, bye.
Chief Medical Officer's Log. Stardate 60487.9. The ship has almost finished repairs following the incident at the binary M-class worlds orbiting the star at HIP 73513. We've continued our mission exploring the Shackleton Expanse. The subpar response to the resulting medical emergencies by both myself and my staff have shown some previously unknown flaws in our preparations and procedures. While this has not shaken my trust in Starfleet's set procedures and guidelines, it has certainly opened my eyes to the need to make adjustments to better fit them to the ship's particular needs. Let the engineers keep the ship sound. The safety of this crew is my first priority. Despite our rough recent performance, I am finding myself far more excited and optimistic about our upcoming missions.
The Doctor's concerns for flawed mass casualty procedures are well-founded and about to be brought to the fore again. The crew is in the middle of a routine day of surveys, repairs, and diagnostics when suddenly internal alarms are triggered. Something is inside the ship, and it's growing. The crew will have to depend on their knowledge of the ship and perhaps on Commander Dulles' yoga and Pilates training, as well as Lieutenant 702's cardio training to not just regain the ship, but even to survive. Can the crew operate the ship when no corridor or compartment is safe? Will they regain control? And how many lives will be lost in the effort? Find out next time in Jeffrey's Tube Jam, only on the Top Hats Off channel.
Okay, we are back. Hello, everybody.
I got a shot, and I
Nice.
got a cookie.
Nice. That's a very tiny cookie.
It's me-sized.
It's actually even small for someone your size, which is already pretty small. Chess, you're like
I like
3'2", I think.
something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Cookie.
Yeah, Chesh actually legally counts as a small.
Yes.
Dutch Place of Hostility student kits for $2 says, Young Earth Creationists take one genetic class, challenge impossible. Yeah, seriously. Like, just,
That can't be true though. He graduated with like in a biology class, but it was about plants.
okay, how about Young Earth Creationists learn from one genetics class challenge?
Right?
All right, so now that we are back, I do want to go through the quick little after the break thing, which is to say that this channel is almost entirely supported directly by you guys. Whether it be through sharing videos, liking these videos, leaving comments, sending super chats, super stickers, super thanks, gifting memberships, joining the memberships, or the Patreon. All of that is the reason that the channel can keep going. And it is currently on a trend where it might not be able to always do that. I would really love to reverse that trend because, quite frankly, I love doing this. And sure, I have complaints. Everyone has complaints about everything. But overall, this is still the best job that I've ever had in terms of job satisfaction, and also just my motivation to actually work on it. I actually have to tell myself, like, sometimes, like, nope, you're supposed to be on a break. Don't work on it. Don't open up that file and start working on the script. Don't start animating. Don't do it.
As somebody who talks to Dapper in the background, correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
This man is a beast
Yeah,
when it comes to this.
Chesh has more than once been like, Dapper, you should take a break. I'm like, no.
You're worse than me, and that says a lot.
Yeah. So, but still, it is amazing, and I love it, and I want to keep being able to do it. And so, right now, the best way that you can do that is by going over to the Patreon, which is linked in the description. The Patreon starts at only $1 a month. It can go all the way to $100 a month if you are feeling really crazy and generous. It gives you access to my Discord server. It gives you early access to my videos. I had a video go up for early access today. It probably will not go live on YouTube until like May of next year, because I have a gigantic back catalog that you can go through or have early access. Discord is also where I get to keep the most money. But hey, if you want the things like channel emojis, the green name, stuff like that, there is also the channel memberships that also gives you access to the same Discord and the same early access videos. It starts at $1.99 a month. So yeah, feel free to check any of those out. It really, really helps. And like I said, for this stream today, if you pledge on the Patreon, I am going to be doubling the amount that the amount per month estimate on my dashboard goes up by. So right now, it has gone up by $9 today, and I have increased the funding by $18 worth. Josh McGee's for $5 says, from Borg Emporia and Jillian Wren, remember Sheep It. Yes, so if you want to help out in a way that does not involve you sending me money, the easy way to do that is to go and download the Sheep It client from the link in the description, or that's there for that purpose. And then use the login information that's in the description, and that will get me points for my render farm. So the way that Sheep It works, which is the render farm I use for my videos, is that Sheep It assigns my frames to other renderers based on how many points I have on Sheep It. The way I get points is by rendering frames for other people. So if you do that, you will either get me points for rendering frames for other people, or if one of my projects is active and your computer can handle my frames, you will directly render for me, making it very direct in terms of getting my videos out faster in those circumstances. The most important times to render for me are when I am rendering something on Sheep It. But anytime you open it up and you run it and it renders frames, it helps. Every little bit helps. And I'm currently at, I think I'm at like 2.4 billion points on there, which puts me in like the top 1% of like points earners on Sheep It.
You heard it here, everybody. Dapper is in the top 1%.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the, but I'm not the top 0.1% though. That's other people. I'm actually in 8th place among renderers, which is pretty good considering that the last time I checked, there were over 2,000 renderers on Sheep It.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And it's primarily not just because of me and my computer. It's primarily because of the community helping out.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
The community's great.
All right. I'm going to hit play.
In other words, God pre-programmed the limits into the system.
Yeah, but where are they? No one has ever actually proposed a limit that has been verifiable. Right? Like every once in a while, someone was like, well, what if this kind of mutation just can't occur? And then we go and find it. In order to limit things like what he's talking about, there would have to be certain classes of mutations that are possible and certain other mutations that are impossible. What makes those impossible mutations impossible? And it can't just be any kind of mutation that you can think of. It has to be ones that evolution actually expects and works into their models. Because otherwise, what you're not talking about is evolution. You're talking about some other thing that no one thinks is true. What mutation that evolution requires can't happen. And no one, not a single person, has ever actually come up with a good answer for that. Inappropriately capitalizing stuff for 100 Argentinian pesos says, we already knew Dapper was among the 1% of dinos the meteor isn't able to kill. I mean, kind of, but then again, when you consider how many bird species there are, I barely factor into the total dinosaur diversity currently alive.
Only because you're sassing my joke, I'm gonna sass you back and say, for somebody named inappropriately capitalizing, you don't have anything capitalized in that super chat.
Which is inappropriate because at least the we should be capitalized.
Mm-hmm. And the dapper.
Yeah, and the dapper, yeah. How dare.
I'm disappointed.
This man here, Dr. John Sanford, wrote an excellent book called Genetic Entropy.
I'm just going to take a drink for the excellent book, Genetic Entropy. Here's my
I feel like that is definitely like if you just respond to this, if your initial internal reaction is to when somebody says something is to go back at them, that is immediately should be a drink trigger. That's a vibe. That's a vibe check.
It is.
I've done that to family members.
I try not to do it to family members.
I've done this to people in real life to their face.
Nice. So here's my recommendation. I don't want to super get into genetic entropy unless he's really going to dive into it. But Zach Hancock, who's a friend of the channel, who has a channel which I think used to be called Talk Pop Gen, but is now called Zach B. Hancock, has an excellent video about this very topic. And he and Dan Stern Cardinal, also a friend of the channel, wrote a paper refuting genetic entropy at a mathematical level. So, yeah, like, he's the guy to talk to. And as far as I know,
I feel like when you say so like that, you need to play that little video you made that says, "Why don't you eat a dick?"
I don't think I have it added to my OBS.
No, pain.
Also, it was just a GIF, and I totally forgot I had made it until very recently.
I have it on my channel.
You do?
I used it the other day.
Good. You also have my citation needed.
I do. I use that one all the time.
Yeah, you actually have the nice version of it, not the GIF version. You have the actual, like, full resolution, full color depth version.
Yep, I got the fancy one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were like, hey, can I use this GIF? And I was like, well, I literally can't stop you. But would you like the high def version with the full color?
The answer was yes, absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Mystery of the Genome, where he explains, and it's sort of depressing, how...
Okay, one thing I do want to point out is how nice it is that everyone always uses the second edition cover with the genetic code spilling out of Adam and God touching Adam's finger from the creation of man.
Yeah. It's a cool art conception for a cover of a book.
Tesh, would you like to know what the cover was on the first edition of this?
Yes, I would. What was it?
It was a library full of stacks of books with no walls or roof, just open to space, and a UFO was flying through the middle of it.
Why was there a UFO in it?
I don't know why any of it was in it.
Yeah, that's a lot of I don't mean to be rude, but that's a lot of random shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah. Genetic entropy, it's just not a thing. And until creationists come up with an actual refutation of the mathematical proof involved in Stern Cardinal and Hancock's paper, yeah, they've just got nothing on this. Like, respond to that paper or STFU. I can't. Letter. Blah. Blame the whiskey.
STFU.
Yeah, I blame the whiskey. Also, hey, we're at 50% of the way to getting a second Steam key and a fancy avatar. So
yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Remember, it could be spooky or spooky month.
Us avoiding talking about Tisdall makes you the most money.
Well, also to some degree, them sending money helps us not talk about Tisdall. So there's that.
Yeah, the more you send, the less we talk about this dumb motherfucker.
It's true. Although I can't actually confirm what he does or doesn't do with any mothers. So
cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah. Also, thank you very much, Carrie Bronson, for joining at the Patreon at the Amnio level, which means I get to increase the GoFundMe number. My ultimate goal is to make it so that if YouTube entirely collapses in on me, and YouTube just turns into a neutron star or something, that I will be able to survive and not be homeless for at least a little while off of Patreon. That's my ultimate goal.
I like YouTube turns into a neutron star.
Yeah. Well, it's not nearly massive enough to turn into a black hole, obviously.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah. Now,
I blame Mr. Beast.
I don't not blame Mr. Beast, although I don't know how much I would blame him in particular. But also, thank you so much, Pat Miracle in the Scientific Sense Clippo, for 250 Polish zloty, which is a lot, although I don't have the exchange rate stuck in my head. Says, I have no idea of when to sleep anymore since I moved between the USA and Poland a few times a year. Ooh, that's rough.
Brother.
Oh, man.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, that's really rough.
That hurt. Hearing that about this has hurt me on the inside.
You know what's not? Oh, sorry. You know what's really not fucking funny? Watching the rise of a Christian nationalism in both Protestant and Catholic country, ecumenical effort. Yeah. Look, I would.
Especially like being in Poland.
Yeah, I would suggest.
Dapper. Show them the Poland. Also, hold on. I'll send it to you.
I like how you think this is just something that I have ready to go.
Yeah.
What are you sending to me? I'm just still seeing Cloud.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta pull it up.
I'm seeing Cloud with lots and lots and lots of cake.
Cake. Cloud with cake.
So my recommendation would be not to return to the US and instead find someplace else in Europe. Stay in Europe is my recommendation. Sassed by Chesh for 200 Argentinian pesos says Mad Max Fury Tubes. Exactly.
Have you sent this to me? Is this what I'm looking at here? What is happening? Is this? No, I'm not going to play the entire video, Chesh. Put the link in the chat so they can look at it. And so I don't get
It's
a copyright
30
claim.
seconds. It's
still
not
the whole
long.
video. I don't want to steal their whole video. Put it in the
Oh
chat.
my god, fine. This is me sending this to anybody who is in Poland right now. As a Canadian, we support you.
In completing the Geneva checklist.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna hit play. Remember, Chesh, this guy is your fault. He's from Canada.
Each generation has 100 mutations, and
On average.
so you keep every generation adding to those mutations because they're near neutral. I mean, if they're not neutral, you die. So
No.
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 Take a drink. That's not how that works.
No. If they're not neutral, you die.
Yeah. So here's a few things.
What is
Here's a few things. Some mutations are actually beneficial. We know that to be true from like a mathematical standpoint. That's absolutely the case. So it's done for that reason. Also, in case you're wondering, fitness effects are on a spectrum. And while yes, if a mutation kills you and you don't get to reproduce, that is a pretty big fitness effect. That brings your fitness to 0. Most harmful mutations only have small effects on fitness, which means that you reproduce slightly less frequently or produce slightly fewer offspring on average. And for animals like humans, who typically have trouble getting much past 10 offspring, at least for female humans, the amount that it can affect your fitness might not even be noticeable within one generation, right? Because let's say that you live in a place where, on average, a human female is giving birth to a dozen children in her lifetime, which is a lot for most developed countries now, but is not that many for many places in the like that's how many grandchildren that my maternal grandmother had, right? So it's not that crazy, not that long ago, to have had 12 as a normal number of kids. Okay, let's say you have a fitness reduction of 2%. What's 2% of 12? It's less than 1. It's way less than 1. So would you notice that within one generation? No, of course not. It would have to be over multiple generations where people with that mutation would every once in a while have like one less kid than the average every once in a while. And slowly that gets weeded out of the population. That's still a harmful mutation from the standpoint of evolution. That's how most mutations are that are harmful. Now, a large number of mutations that have small fitness effects that are either positive or low are actually going to be in what Stanford calls the no selection zone. But the problem is that we can calculate this. And the size of the no selection zone is a function of effective population size. It's kind of easy to understand why, right? There's this thing called the law of large numbers. So like, let's say, Chesh, you got a die near you?
Yeah, of course. Me? No.
Well, can you pull it out?
Yeah, I got 7 of them.
Okay, give me a D4, because those are easy. Okay.
Pointy.
So we should expect that if that die is fair, which is probably pretty close, that if we roll it, we should get each number equally likely. Guys, could you do me a favor and roll that die 4 times? Tell me what you get.
3.
3.
4. 3. 2.
So we didn't get 1 at all. Is that unlikely?
I got 3 twice.
Yeah, and we got 3 twice. Is that some kind of crazy defeater of that die being fair? No, of course not. But I'm not going to ask you to do it. But let's say we rolled that die 20,000 times.
I'm going to be here a while.
Well, yeah, but that's why I'm not going to ask you to do it. I'm not that mean.
Thanks.
Okay, so could you do it 1,500 times? Because I'm that mean.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do it. But yeah, if we did that, we would actually find out that it's really pretty close to an even split across the board on each number. It's called the law of large numbers, right? When you have a large population, even small fitness effects can be seen by natural selection because the effects of random mating with things like genetic drift are minimized with a large population. And humans have a very, very high effective population size in terms of breeding pool, which means that the no selection zone for mutation fitness effects for humans is minuscule. And yet, very few of the mutations that are near there are going to be fatal. This is just a fundamental misunderstanding of how harmful mutations work. Which I'm honestly not sure that he has the degrees that he says he has. Because it would be hard to get those degrees legitimately and not know this. And it's also the kind of thing that's really stupid to lie about. Because you don't need to. There's no need to lie about this. So, I don't know. Maybe he's lying about his degrees. I'm not going to go dig through school records. Especially since they're probably in French or something.
True. They are probably in French.
Not that I haven't just sat here and read French in bulk here on this show.
True.
I did do that. And then everyone loved that I was mumbling through French for like 10 minutes on the channel.
Well, I was sitting here with my thumb up my ass, like...
You could have looked up the French too.
I could have.
Here's the real secret. I speak better French than she does.
That's not a real secret. Everybody knows that.
That's probably true. But, like, it's your national language. You should know it better.
Yeah, all of our schools should be in French immersion, and you should have to opt out of it. But no, we don't do that. Why? Because we're dumb, probably.
Does that mean that the schools in Quebec should be English immersion? Because they would hate that.
No. They should still just be the way they are.
Okay. I mean, I will say that the average... like Quebecois person speaks better English than the average non-French Canadian person speaks French.
Oh, they're usually more than capable of speaking perfectly fine English, and they choose not to because fuck you.
Yeah, that's also been my experience.
Yeah.
Quebec is actually the province. Quebec is the province I've been to the most because when I used to live in Massachusetts, I could just hop on a train and get off the train in Quebec.
Yeah, we do have trains. We're getting more trains.
Nice. I'm a little jealous.
Isn't that great?
It's pretty great. Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic for $5 says, well, the problem is that Sanford's model is a good representation of a reality as an acid trip with a simultaneous BAC of about 0.3. Oh, man. I've never done a drunk acid trip, and I feel like it would be a really bad time. I don't know.
AOD when?
Right? I've had drinks while on other substances and had both good and bad times. So I guess it varies. Maybe that's what it is. It varies.
There's like a lot of factors.
Okay. Let's see. Pat Miracle in the Scientific Sense Clippo for 25 Polish zloty says, I wonder if USA would grant me a refugee status in Russia if Russia attacks officially. Yeah, sure. No, they won't.
The U.S. probably not.
Yeah, here's the thing. I would not recommend.
You have a better
trying
chance
the
getting
US.
into Canada.
People have been picked up by the U.S. Gestapo while going to asylum hearings at immigration court. And I want to remind you that asylum is a legal path to immigration in the United States, and while your asylum case is ongoing in the United States, legally, you are not supposed to be arrested or deported for immigration purposes, unless you're lied about that, why you're there, and like what kind of asylum stuff you're going through. But assuming that isn't the case, you're not supposed to be
Done
picked
the
up.
perjury thing.
Yeah, and yet that's where we are. So I do not recommend going to the United States to seek asylum.
Nope.
Go to Canada.
You'd have a better
go to
chance going to
Australia.
Canada.
Yep. Go to Canada. Go to Australia. Go to parts of Europe.
France.
Go to France.
Maybe Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend super Italy. Italy seems to be having some problems with their own little mini fascists thing going on over there. Italy being
Go
fascist.
to Venezuela.
That would never happen. Well, I would say go to Venezuela, but I feel like the United States is about to bomb Venezuela any day now.
Venezuela's got some problems, not like because of the people.
I mean,
This
a
is
lot
more
of the Venezuela
more of a
problems.
general vibe problem.
Well, also, I mean, the United States just murdering Venezuelans on the open ocean for.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of licensed plate magic for $2, says Mendel's Accountant is also a really bad time. Yeah, so in case you guys are unaware, Mendel's Accountant is a forward time population genetics simulator created, I believe, in part by John Sanford, and I think he had help from some other creationist who is like good at the programming. But the problem is that it doesn't match any other forward time evolution simulations, nor does it match real world data. So if you plug in like realistic parameters for a real world scenario that we have actually observed, it creates unrealistic results. In fact, Zach Hancock, whom I've already mentioned, has tested out Mendel's Accountant, and he could not get a population to persist. No matter how high he put the rate of beneficial mutations, the populations always reached a fitness maximum and then declined from there until there were none left. And that's not a thing that happens. Like, if you just look around at the world, like, organisms aren't just all dropping like flies. And of course, another problem with genetic entropy is that, according to genetic entropy, the more often a species reproduces, the faster it should accumulate all these negative mutations. And also, the smaller its population is, the faster it should accumulate these because it has a larger non-selection zone in terms of fitness affecting mutations. So what that should mean is that if you have something that reproduces really fast and has a relatively small population, you should be able to watch it go extinct within days to months. So what's a really great way to test that? Take a single sample of a bacterium, put it in a petri dish, and then just keep allowing it to be in that environment where there's food available. And watch it go extinct, except no, it won't. We know that. We have lineages that have been in laboratories of various bacteria for decades, and they're not going extinct, nor are they seeing declining fitness. Also, there are strains of fruit fly that have been bred in small populations in laboratories for decades. Some strains probably are going on near a century. Doing just fine. No long-term fitness decrease. So it just doesn't happen. Like, we can tell it doesn't happen. We checked that it didn't happen.
We tried it.
Yeah, we tried this experiment before John Sanford wrote his damn book. We already knew it was bullshit just from laboratory experiments. So, yeah.
You're not passing.
Wait till this guy
the
starts
real
talking about
serious
geology.
Ugh.
ones aren't being passed on, but the neutral ones or semi-neutral ones are being passed on, right? Because the other ones aren't, because you die, so you don't pass them on. So
I'm just gonna take another drink for it. Then you die, which is not how it works.
Then you die. The end.
Reminds me of the tagline for The Ring. It's like, first you watch it, then you die. And it's like, yeah, that's every videotape.
That's all of them.
Yep.
The end.
That's how everything works. First you do this thing, later on, then you die. Yep.
Then you die.
Yep. It's like,
I'm thinking of the Game Grumps, and they're like, and you die.
Hey, check this out. Tisdall Tuesday. First you watch it, and you die.
Then
Yep.
you die.
That's true.
Eventually.
Yep. Probably not related to the Tisdall Tuesday, but
No, you're...
Well, the ones that are near neutral are the most dangerous because they accumulate over time.
okay. So here's a thing.
Things accumulate over time?
So here is a thing, right? If you have a collection of these near neutral but deleterious mutations, and we make the assumption that their fitness effects are additive, which we can't actually make. We actually happen to know that mutations do not always have additive fitness effects. In fact, sometimes a mutation can reverse the fitness effect of other mutations and make them positive instead of negative. But let's ignore that. Let's pretend we live in Babyland, where Sanford plays, where all mutations have additive fitness effects, even though that's incredibly stupid. Even if that's the case, what will actually happen is that you will get to the point where the next deleterious mutation, which on its own would not actually have a fitness effect strong enough to be selected out, will now have a fitness effect that's strong enough to be selected out, because your reproductive ability will go below the level where basically it can be selected out. Which means that that mutation will not persist after all these other deleterious mutations have fixed in your lineage. That's all that will happen. That mutation will be selected out. Even if all of John Sanford's assumptions are true about this, which, again, they're absolutely fucking not. But even if we pretend they are, it still doesn't do what John Sanford wants it to do.
It doesn't work.
Yep. Nothing about genetic entropy works on any level.
And so it's like having
And
a
yet here
book
we
where
are.
you have a typo in the page, and then the next edition you have a...
And then you die. That's how typos work.
We have a typo in a page, and therefore every time that word is spelt later in the book, it's spelt wrong. That would be really funny.
few more. You can still read the page. And then the next edition, by the time you get to the 10th edition, it's gibberish. And you can't...
No. Because here's
why you have to make so many assumptions for that to be remotely true. Like you don't have to have any of those things be fucking. This is also like just a bad analogy. A typo in a book and then subsequent. You do know why they reprint books, right? Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
When they reprint a book, they also tend to fix errors. Like, what do you mean?
That's the selection analogy. There are a lot of books that get reprinted and they fix typos because typos make it through the editing process sometimes.
So many different analogies you can pick, and you picked the worst one. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Stop!
Yeah, I wish he would stop, but he won't. Never will.
That's dumb. I don't feel like I'm asking for a lot, but it seems like I'm asking for a lot.
It does seem like it, because you're asking for it from people who just don't care to give it.
That sounds sad.
It is.
Oh,
they're not very giving.
Why? They're supposed to be. That's part of the, foreigner and neighbor and widow and things.
Yeah. Orphan, the poor, the prisoner in some cases. Yeah.
Everything is stupid.
See, the thing is, everyone who takes the Bible as like their scriptural, like authority, right? Cherry picks from the Bible, right? You kind of have to.
But you could pick the good, nice things, and you choose not to.
They could choose the nice things.
That makes you a bad person.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Stop being a bad person.
Also, we're at 70%, which means that we're not quite on track for Fancy Avatar, but we're also actually pretty close. And I do believe a lot of that is because of Pat Clippo. But also, remember, we are still pushing the Patreon, and if you pledge the Patreon, I am doubling the amount that it adds to the funding compared to how much it actually increases the per month number on my dashboard. So, if you were ever considering the Patreon, now would be a great time to go over there.
can't go. How are you going to get back to the first page? You can't. You have no way of getting back.
How can
That's
you get back to the first page? Just look at the first book, dipshit, and print from there.
Right?
Why are you so stupid? This is such a bad. God, this is such a bad analogy. This analogy is making me angry.
As a rule,
Like it's such a bad analogy that's making me angry.
as a rule, analogies for genetics are always bad analogies.
I mean, yeah, fair, but also stop.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is stop because it's never a good analogy. Just don't.
And
Just
just-
don't bother.
Just don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just please stop with analogies for genetics. They're never good. Kent Jeffrey of Arimathea Halstead for $4.99 says, but that was in a lab, therefore it requires a designer because blah 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 blah. Tongue out emoji, clown emoji, pukes out of mind control device and dies.
A designer is
Yeah, basically. I don't think I even need to add anything. It stands on its own.
yeah.
All right.
Really, the way the whole human species is going.
What way? There are more humans now than there ever have been, dude.
Oh, there's more dinosaurs now than there ever have been, dude.
I'm less confident about that.
Yo, there's a lot of chickens on the planet, man.
You know what? I hadn't thought about the chickens, and that's a really good point.
The chickens outnumber humans.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, dinosaurs might be
Right?
more better than ever.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you count population numbers as your metric.
Yeah, if the if the measurement tool you're using is population size.
If you're using quality of life, well, those chickens might be a drain on dinosaurs as a whole.
Kind of depends. Yeah, you've got there's a lot of free range chickens, but America does a lot of factory farming. So
Most
that's gonna be
chickens
you
are
have to do
factory
you have to do a numbers comparison. But then you would also have to do something along the lines of being they're also bigger and thicker than they were. So in that regard, that would depends on what you're asking.
Oh, also, I found out that Germany has a law that forbids the shredding of male chicks, which is a common practice in factory farms, where only the female chicks are going to make you any money unless you happen to need a breeding rooster, which means that they literally get put into a shredder.
Yeah, the chicken nuggies. There's
Well, so Germany banned that, but then what happened is all those factory farms just started selling them to foreign buyers who do no one knows what with them.
yeah, there's laws in Canada about factory farming.
I mean, there are laws in the United States about it. There just aren't enough, and that do the right
Yeah, they're
things.
not- Yeah.
Yeah, America has laws about these things.
The eggs that I buy are locally sourced, properly kept.
I do appreciate that on behalf of my fellow dinosaurs.
Chimkins. I agree with vegans when they talk about some ethics. I don't choose to be a vegan because of those things though.
Yeah, look, that's a whole can of worms that I don't really want to open. But I'm not going to tell you that vegans don't make any good points.
Yeah. I agree that animals need to be treated well. I don't think that means they can't be food.
Yeah. I generally agree. I also don't know of a way to live my life without ever killing animals. So
I don't think that's possible currently.
yeah, I don't think so either. Now, that being said, I have been trying consciously to reduce my use of animal products. I recently got some gummies and specifically sought out gummies with pectin. I bought tofu and hummus at the store yesterday, specifically to replace meat as a protein in a few meals this week. I am trying to reduce...
You're putting in effort.
Yeah. Is it perfect? Could I probably do more? Yeah. But I don't know. Hey, if you eat meat every day, maybe you don't have to. You know?
I understand people who don't have hope outside. They need a message. The creation message is a message of hope.
What are we talking about right now?
I don't know. I think he's starting to go into preacher mode a little bit.
Okay, is he going to say that you only believe in evolution because you want to sin? Are we going to get a lecture at for being horny now?
I think he might, but I don't think he's going to do it yet.
Okay. If he does,
That's
that's a
my
confirmed prediction.
Oh, yeah.
From Genesis on, it's a message of hope. It recognizes that the world is fallen. It recognizes suffering. It recognizes that things are not as God planned it to be.
Actually,
Then God sucks at planning. Shut up.
a lot of the Bible really doesn't seem to indicate that things are not as God planned them to be. It requires a lot of post-biblical theology to get to that point, and like that's just not in the Bible directly. Now, on the other hand, it's not like there aren't those aspects in the Bible, but also in the Bible, God is the ultimate cause of suffering in a lot of books. Like you look at Job, and people are like, "Well, that was Satan testing Job." No. That was the adversary or the accuser, who was a part of God's divine court in the book of Job, going and saying, "Hey, God, I bet Job isn't as cool as you think. Let me torture him."
Fight me IRL.
And then God's like, "Yeah, sure, go torture him." That's God saying, "Hey, yeah, go torture this guy." That's God being the cause of the suffering and the evil that befell Job. Right? That's why when you hire someone to murder someone, when you hire an assassin, yeah, you're still responsible. You still go to prison for that. If, it's proven.
I think the other half of this problem is that it's the interpretation. You're choosing to interpret the Bible and preach the Bible in a way that makes God look like a petty piece of shit dick face. And like, why are you choosing to, like I said, there's more than one interpretation of the fall. I personally like the interpretation of we haven't fallen anywhere. Just the process that it is now we are just going through the process of learning and understanding and gathering knowledge as a species. And that is like the quote unquote, you've eaten the apple, you made the decision, and now you get to go and experience. And so now we're all just learning and we're all just experiencing and we're allotted to do that. Great, that's a perfectly fine interpretation that doesn't have anything to do with futzing with science or evolution, and in fact enables science and enables us to learn and grow as a species, and doesn't withhold our social evolution of having to stick to old rules and laws that don't fucking matter and only are used to harm and abuse people, which is the thing you're supposed to be moving past. We live in 2025. Stop.
Also, Triceratops says size in Ace. Look, creationists barely even understand that Ace is a thing. That just does not compute for them.
Do not try to talk to these people about fungus.
Roshan, a pre-Yiddish volcano killer for $4.99 says, "I just want synthetic lab meat, but everyone is scared of long pig." Yeah, they are. It's true. Pat Miracle in the Scientific Sense Clippo for 10 Polish zloty says, "Oat milk is tastier than cow milk." Overall, I actually do tend to agree. However, there are certain applications for cow milk that I'm not going to replace. Like, if I'm making Indian food and the recipe calls for milk, I'm not using oat milk. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's no bueno. There's also, like, a part of the issue isn't that we consume meat and isn't that we consume animal product loose term. It's the quantity and wastefulness at which we do it. So, like, it's not like they're telling you, like, oh, we eat meat every day because we have to. That is literally the meat industry propaganda telling you that. Like, we built society to make it that way. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So, like, just stop listening to the man.
Yeah, in fact, most cultures throughout most of history, most people could not eat meat every day. It was literally impossible. Let's see. Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic for $5 says, "Because men like Tisdall make God in their own image." Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
that is definitely
and they're
a thing.
bad people.
Also, I want to say thank you to Kevin V. Or is it Kevin the 5th or Kevin 5? I'm not positive. But thank you very much, Kevin, for joining the Patreon at the Seropsid level, which means it is once again time to increase that amount.
All I'm saying is it's not that hard to not be a piece of shit.
You would think.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
You could literally do nothing and you'd be doing better than this fucking guy.
That's true. But I'm going to hit play with him.
I'm in a bad mood.
And yet you volunteer to come here.
This makes me in a better mood, maybe, allegedly. I don't know.
You know what would definitely make you in a better mood?
Huh.
If you started up a live stream 5e D20 game that didn't give WotC any money at all, and also helped teach people how to not give WotC money while you played. I'm just saying.
Dapper wants me to run a game on Top Hats Off.
I offered to let you run a game on Top Hats Off because I think it will be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm not wrong.
you're not wrong. Actually, it might not be a terrible. We can talk about it later.
All right, we're gonna get a little bit.
Really?
We're gonna get a little bit more Tisdall in, and then we're gonna start wrapping things up. And it doesn't look like we're gonna quite get to Fancy Avatar, which means no
So close.
Spooky Dapper.
Counterpoint: some people find it very difficult. No, they don't. They just suck. Some people are just bad people, and there's no like talking them out of it, and there's no point in forgiving them for anything. They're just bad people. Just acknowledge they're bad people and treat them as such.
And that we're dealing with a fallen world, and that is why we need Jesus.
Dude, I don't care if you feel like you need Jesus. It doesn't matter to me. I just stop lying about science.
I need to send you the clip of Vic Mignogna saying Jimmy Kimmel needs Jesus.
But seriously, like, I am not here to tell people to stop being Christians or to not become Christians or whatever. I just don't care about that right now. What I would
Nobody
like...
cares if you believe or not. We care if you're a dick.
Yeah.
Stop being a dick.
Stop denying science. Stop trying to keep people oppressed. Stop trying to oppress new people. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm
Your
not
own
even
book
asking
tells you to
you...
stop being a dick.
Yeah, I'm not even asking you to accept, say, gay or trans people. I'm just saying stop being a dick to them. Stop trying to deny them access to healthcare or housing or jobs or things like that. You can dislike them all you want. I don't care that much. People dislike me, whatever. But when you start doing things like saying, oh, they shouldn't be allowed to serve in the military, or you should be able to discriminate them against them in terms of housing, or they shouldn't be able to get marriage licenses. Yeah, now you're just being a dick.
It's none of your business. Like nosy hypocrite.
Josh McGee says, I purchased a Patreon gift membership. Did that show up? I don't know if it showed up separately from just someone getting a gift membership. So, I also don't know how fast they go in terms of showing up. But also, we just got 10 gifted memberships from Joshua Geese. Thank you so much. Which means Bent gets free pizza. So congratulations to Bent. Chesh, why don't you tell everyone how to make a task roll in Star Trek Adventures while I take 10 drinks, and then we'll see how badly you screwed up.
So you select you got two options. You select one from each of them, whichever the game master tells you to select. Then you make sure your task roll button is on 2, and then you add whatever focuses you may or may not have apply, and you have to reach the number that is determined its difficulty by the DM.
That was about 80% of what was important. So
Yeah, you may or may not be able to apply any other stuff to your roll based on your character.
Okay. That's not bad. Yeah. And we are actually pretty darn close at this point to getting Fancy Avatar and a second stream key. Tell you what, if that thing gets to 92% before it's time to wrap up, I say we go an extra 15 minutes. What do you think, Chesh?
Yeah, I can do that. I'm here.
All right.
Only makes sense. If you say that Genesis isn't really what it's supposed to say, it's just poetry, Jesus...
Well, it's definitely not poetry
What?
for the most part. But
I'm sorry, can you make him say that again?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, just put it just a little bit.
that we're dealing with a fallen world, and that is why we need Jesus. It only makes sense. If you say that Genesis isn't really what it's supposed to say, it's just poetry,
Genesis isn't really what it's supposed to say, just poetry.
I think what he's trying to say is, and I'm willing to chalk some of this up to like English as a second language. What I think he's trying to say is, if you say that Genesis can't be taken as literal history, and instead it's just poetry to be taken figuratively, then, but the thing is, first of all, it's not poetry, right? We know what Hebrew poetry looks like, and it's not
definitively not. Yeah.
Now, it is a very high register for most portions of it. One that, has like fancy words and whatnot. Not the kind of thing you would like write if you were like writing a letter to your brother or something. But it's definitely not poetry. However, it's also definitely not historical. Like, I don't care what the intent of the authors was. It's not historical. And
There
hey,
is historical data that you can get from it, the same way you can get historical data from anything that was written from before right this very second.
Lieutenant Matt, practitioner of license plate magic, just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships, which takes us to 93%, which means you guys are getting an extra 15 minutes worth of Tisdall Tuesday.
Hey, let's go. We're here. For
And I
more
just
of
took my
this.
5 drinks. Okay.
This doesn't make any sense anymore.
Make any
I don't-
sense anymore.
That's a you problem, dude. I don't care.
That's a
Scientists
you
don't care.
problem, dude.
If you go up to a scientist and you say, hey, did you know your discovery is problematic for my theology?
Wow,
They
what a
will
shame.
not
Oh no,
care.
anyway.
Yeah, they will not care. I can promise you. But also, scientists aren't going out there to try and hunt down things that contradict your theology. They just don't care. Scientists aren't waking up in the morning and thinking, oh man, remember that French Canadian dick who believes in Jesus? What can we say that would make Jesus seem sillier? No one's doing that. Yeah, Rana,
A lot of scientists have faith in different varying things. A lot of science happened back in the day when it was when philosophy and theology and science were the same fucking thing.
Rana,
Shut up.
Rana Unwelcome Nuance K says, let's turn October around. It would be great.
Bro, see a doctor if your brain doesn't work.
But what if my brain is not working in that it's telling me not to go see a doctor? Because my copay is too high.
Well, okay, that's a different kind of problem.
Yeah, I have a very American healthcare problem in that I have health insurance. I just can't afford to actually
Very
use it
American
unless it's an
problem.
emergency. My health insurance
yeah.
exists so that if I have to go to the hospital, I will not be bankrupt as a result. Oh, there's Mothra.
Hey.
What? My copay is also high enough that I can't actually justify like going to get just a regular old checkup. Like, nope, it would cost way too much money. So I'm just trying to like monitor myself for serious symptoms of horrible problems. And other than the fact that I could do better at pain management, so far, you know,
There's something wrong with your country.
There's something wrong with my what?
Country.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
Your unnamed country.
we've known that for a very long time. This is not news.
I just like making fun of the United States.
And there it is. I mean, I don't blame you. There it is. Joshua Geese with 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships just put us over the level for Fancy Dapper and in the second Steam key. I kept saying stream key. Whatever. Here's 5 drinks.
One of these days, we should do you one of those sub memberships. I mean, you should just stream for as long as like people keep giving membership.
I might have to occasionally take turns with you though.
You want to leave, coward?
Yeah, well, sometimes I might need to actually sleep. I'm not
It's
like you.
just me and you slowly falling into oblivion of just both being completely exhausted. We'll start at like 9 a.m. and you'll be fine and I'll be like and then we'll get to like 2 in the morning and you'll be like, I'm getting done, and I'll be like, let's go.
All right, Splintered Orion has just joined the channel at the Tetrapod level. Welcome, Splintered Orion. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to have you here. Let's see. Cat Miracle in Scientific Sense Clippo for 100. Polish Zloty says, go get a checkup. Look,
If only it were that.
I'm gonna reassess my finances and my health insurance, like, I think this month or next month. So, like, we'll see what happens, right? Kent Jeffrey of Arimathea Halstead for $4.99 says, I don't know how this man can say the Bible when the Ramayana, which is much older, is also divinely inspired. Those don't really work together. You know what? You make a compelling point. How do you say the Bible when the Ramayana is? What kind of silly nonsense is it? Also, I am about to drop in a new Steam key. This is for Vermintide 2. Vermintide 2
Hey, let's go.
is a game Chesh has, and it is I think it's 4-player, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a
I
4
think you can like crack it and play with more, but it's a
I'm just going to
nightmare.
describe the vanilla experience, which is to say it's a 4-player class-based action RPG that is similar to like a Left 4 Dead, where you are advancing through the mission with 3 other people or other people and some bots in some combination, and waves of enemies will come at you. I believe it includes Chaos Warriors of Nurgle and Haven from
Rat.
Warhammer Fantasy.
It's lots of rats.
It's a fun time. And remember, when I put this in chat, you do not need to have super chatted or be a member or a patron or anything like that in order to get this. You just have to be fast. And I would also ask that Chesh not get it because she already owns the game, so what would be the point?
I'm a nice guy. I'll let other people have it.
All right, here it is. And if you are the one who claims it, please let me know. Just at me and let me know that you got it. And yeah, so I can say congratulations and take it off of my list of Steam keys to give out. All right, let's get a little bit more Tisdall in because we still have another 14-ish minutes.
One day we'll get to the end of this stupid video.
I mean, we're already a half an hour in. We only have 24 and a half-ish minutes left to go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We could theoretically do that in one stream.
Okay.
No.
More like
Ha!
6 more minimum.
And he says, this is the way the genetics are going. So when God
Who says? John Sanford? The guy who lies about everything? Not everything, that's an exaggeration.
This is the way the genetics are going.
I want to point out, when I say that John Sanford lies about this, I mean he lies about Moto Kimura's paper that he cites in Genetic Entropy. I mean, he just pretends that whole chunks of Origin of Species were written in German, a language that Darwin hated, by the way. You know, there is German in Origin of Species. You know where it is? It's in the citations, because he cites a few works in German. That's it. It's in the titles to a few books he cites.
It's where it belongs.
Right. In the trash.
In the trash!
Also, I want to say thank you to Daniel Fitzpatrick for upgrading their membership from Amnio to Seropsid. I really do appreciate it, and we are going to add that to the amount here. Because remember...
Fuck, let us hang out together.
Wait, what?
I said, who let us hang out together?
Oh, me. It was me, actually.
Me! I did that.
Yeah, you suggested it, and I was the fool who was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Foolish. The dinosaur or the dinosaur for listening to the goblin?
Right?
Either way, it's the dinosaur.
Thanks.
God says eventually he has to make a new heavens, new earth, because he really does. He really will.
Ah, he screwed up that badly the first time, huh?
Okay, but what if this guy's just wrong? What's Tisdall gonna do then?
Yeah, what if?
Things are going downhill fast. Okay.
I mean, nowadays I might agree with you. I wouldn't have when you gave this talk, but yeah, okay, fine, buddy.
Species
I'd like
stability.
to remind you all that you can go onto the Patreon and you can get like pay for a whole year in one go.
It's true. You get a 15% discount if you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Ron and Kay just also upgraded their membership from Tetrapon to Amnio. Thank you very much.
Yep.
That means we have to adjust this number again. You guys are...
YouTube's trying to cancel Dapper and you won't let them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. You know how people say, like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it? Yeah, I'm definitely...
No,
I can't say that about this problem.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a reason why the channel is a big enough source of stress in the last couple months that I woke up in a panic about the channel at 3:30 a.m. on Monday morning.
And then made a thumbnail for next month.
Yeah. It's not because I'm feeling great about how the trajectory of YouTube right now.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do not have enough time. Okay, here is frogs. They haven't changed in 100 million years.
Okay, first of all, that's not true.
Sorry, I just want a clip of him saying, "Here is frogs."
Right. First of all, that's not
Here is
true.
frogs.
Frogs have indeed changed. For one thing, did you know modern frogs don't have ribs, Josh? Did you know about this?
No, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, you
Is
ever
this
held a-
real, or are you just making that up?
No, that's real. Have you ever held a frog? Notice how they're very squishy torsos?
They are squishy. It's true.
Because they don't have ribs. But
Is that real?
It's real. Look, okay, look, Google frog
Are
skeleton.
you lying to
I'm
me?
not lying to you.
Are you making me Google frog ribs and now I'm gonna be on some kind of list?
I mean, if you are, then it's some kind of like Canadian list that I don't know about.
First thing it sent me to is Britannica Kids.
Okay.
Anatomy or body structure of frogs is similar to anatomy of human beings. Same kind of organs and systems in frog anatomy, however, it's much simpler. Now I'm gonna fast search for the word rib.
Just choose frog and skeleton. Just Google image search frog skeleton. It's so much easier.
No, I'm looking for the word rib.
Okay, fine.
I want to see.
They have long transverse processes on their vertebrae, but that's not a
Here
rib.
it is. Do frogs have bones and muscles?
Of course
The
they have
frog
bones.
has no ribs.
Boom.
Boom.
But you know what?
I will provide the link to Britannica Kids, and hopefully somebody can share it with Laurence.
Okay. But did you know that our earliest frog ancestors in the fossil record do have ribs?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know why? It's because frogs have changed in the last 100 million years or so.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. How weird.
I was kind of expecting a recipe to show up.
So like, yeah, frogs have changed. In fact, also, our earliest frog ancestors don't have fused fibula and tibula, whereas modern frogs do. They also have more normal pelvises instead of the weird, freaky, takes up half the body pelvis of modern frogs. You know, our earliest frogs are much more like just generic tetrapod.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, like, he's just... I guess I can't technically say that he's lying about this, but this is a lie. Lieutenant Matt Practitioner of License Plate Magic.
He's not just lying about this, but he is in fact a piece of shit.
Well, yeah. For $5 says, this better be about the plague of frog and not something very stupid. Yeah, do you know about the plague of frog?
No.
So
What is the plague of frog?
So you know how in Exodus there are the plagues of Egypt?
Yes.
And how you've probably read about the plague of frogs.
Yes.
But in the Hebrew, the word frog is in the singular.
Was it just a big frog?
Yes, actually, that's it. That's actually something that occurs in the Talmud, is whether or not the plague was a plague of frogs, or if it was a gigantic kaiju frog that terrorized Egypt.
Right. But okay, listen to me for a minute.
Okay.
You can't just tell me shit like that.
Tell you that there's a Talmudic argument about kaiju frogs?
It's just one big frog. Like that Egypt didn't get like a fucking ton of it. Because now I'm imagining the movie The Prince of Egypt. But instead it turns into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because the frog just gets made big by Rita Repulsa.
Make my monster grow.
And then like the pharaoh has to get into the Sphinx and it has to get up and turn and start fighting a giant frog.
That would be pretty awesome. Okay, people who made Prince of Egypt, we have a spin-off idea for you.
We have a sequel, all right?
Frogs are frogs.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything, man. That doesn't help us.
You keep saying the word frog.
You think evolutionary biologists think that frogs aren't frogs? Is that what you actually think is happening right now? Taking a drink. Frogs are frogs.
Frogs are frogs! Frogs are frogs, and if they're not frog, then what are we?
Also, hey, all love and support to the frogs over there in Portland.
Blessed be frogs.
Remember when I said frogs?
That's great. What a good idea.
Do you remember when I said frogs? Yeah, you said it like 5 times, my dude, just now. I remember when you said
You
frogs.
remember half a second ago when I said frogs? No.
Become princes? I asked the evolutionists. I say, you really believe that frogs can become princes? And
No, I don't.
Yes.
Think about
I
this.
do.
The first frogs evolved
I refuse to think about
in
this.
like the Cretaceous, right? Frogs are a pretty recent thing. The
Sure.
split between lissamphibians and amniotes, which is where humans and frogs would have shared a common ancestor, was way back in like the Carboniferous. So no, frogs didn't turn into princes. because the split between the lineage that would result in princes, which are a human thing, and the lineage that would result in frogs happened way before frogs were a thing. It happened
I'm
before mammals
sorry.
were a thing. It happened before reptiles were a thing.
I'm sorry, Matt. Matt got me.
What did Matt say?
The super chat.
Oh, for $2, Lieutenant Matt, the practitioner of License Plate Magic, says Mediterranean Rim. Oh, that would be pretty good. Miracle of the in the Scientific Sense, Clippo for 25 Zloty says, I need Dapper to not lose sleep so I can lose sleep watching Dapper.
Yay! It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle, but I appreciate it. And I really do appreciate it. It is a huge, it means a lot to me.
Hashtag don't make Dapper get a real job.
I feel like this is a real job given how much work I do.
Definitely is. No. It's at minimum, if not more than a real job. I'm just kidding.
I do remember when some MAGA woman said that she was going to get me fired on Facebook because I wasn't sufficiently sad about Charlie Kirk. I was like, good luck.
Yeah, okay.
And then-
Sure. I don't know if I've ever heard a better "sure, Jan" response.
Yeah, and then she was like, just because even if you're self-employed, we can still get you. I was like, you know what?
We can still get you.
I'm gonna tell my employers that, by which I just meant like the people in my Discord server who are there because they give me money. I was like, hey guys, do you want to fire me? And then several of them upped their pledges on Patreon or joined the channel membership at a higher tier.
Guys, a Karen is gonna get me from Facebook. What are we gonna do about it?
So I told her, actually, I just talked to my employers and they gave me a raise. I don't know.
Got him. Good job. Good job.
Thylacaleon and Anarcho-Daffodilist Kennedy just upgraded their membership to Amnio. Thank you very much, Thylacaleon and Anarcho-Daffodilist Kennedy. Oh, that is the name.
You guys are insane.
Thylacaleon has told me that one of the reasons that they like me is that I'm the only YouTuber who says Thylacaleon correctly.
Oh, I mean, not a linguist.
Well, it's more of a paleontology thing because it's an extinct predatory marsupial from Australia.
I still feel like reading counts.
As doing linguistics?
Yes.
Well, I guess we know who isn't the linguist, and it's Chesh.
Yeah, my bar's really low.
Yeah.
This is why I keep saying that everything is history.
Look, about half of the reason, not half, that's not true. About a third of the reason that I watch anything that Chesh does is to see how she screws up words. It's a fun little game that I play.
I'll send it to you later, and you can share it in your Discord later if you want. But it's it's just a bunch of screenshots of me making goofy faces that all say unofficially dyslexic.
My Unfinished Song, who's been a member for 31 months and is at the MBO level, says, Hail Daps, Gobbo, and the Kaiju Frog of the Resistance with a big fist emoji. Absolutely. Specifically
a Nile Kaiju Frog.
Yes.
Preferably his name is also Nile.
All right, Chesh, what do you have coming up? Because we are right at that time where it's time to wrap things up.
It's volcanoes on Friday. If you like volcanoes, tomorrow I think I'm going to be live and I'll be looking at Mark Carney, who's the Prime Minister of Canada, talking to Donald Trump, and then Pierre Poilievre, who is the Diet Donald Trump of Canada, arguing with Carney about it in Parliament. So it's going to be funny, regardless. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. I've also been taking Harvard courses, so if you're interested in watching this uneducated twat struggle through whatever Harvard's putting out there, it's a good time. And then it's Debate Pub on next Saturday. Not this Saturday coming up, the following Saturday. If you want to see me talk about games, sometimes I'm on Low Energy Vids' channel doing that too. So.
And also on Friday.
Might do art again soon.
On Friday, over on Top Hats Off, Chesh is going to be there for Star Trek Endurance. We're doing the next episode is Jeffrey's Tube Jam. So I don't know how you feel about Jeffrey's tubes, Chesh, but I don't know. You're going to jam them, I guess.
All right. Welcome to the slam. If you want to jam,
Maybe it'll be raspberry jam.
Oh, no one dares give me the raspberry.
Exactly. I'm glad that you knew where I was going with it.
Yeah.
All right. So what's coming up for me in addition to Star Trek Adventures, which we just told you about? So on Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're doing Steve McRae, Backstabber, Transphobe, and Loser.
Hey, I'm on that.
You are on that. Craig's on that, and so is Planner Walk. It is a mirror of Craig's stream, and here's the thing. I normally would not want to talk about Steve McRae. In fact, I almost never talk about Steve McRae. In fact, I'm not sure that you can actually even find a video that mentions him on my channel, although I'm not positive. However...
No, that's about him, yeah.
However... Actually, no, he does appear in at least one clip that I've used a few times, which is of Mary Schweitzer, because he was on a call with her. So, all right, so I guess he's there. Anyway, he has recently been doing and saying things that are what I would consider to be both egregious and calls for violence against just trans people in general.
Yes.
So, Craig and I and Chesh and Planner Walk all got together and decided that we should probably talk about it, because that's some dangerous shit. Yeah, it got really bad. Like, normally, I really don't care about Steve. I don't want to talk about him. I would rather have not had to talk about him in this case. However... He
now shows up on my Dumb Fuck Friday show, because he's much of a bigot now.
But yeah, we felt like it was important enough that we should give people the background context as well as what he's been up to lately that is causing us to feel like it needs to be. That's going to be then. It's a pretty long video, so, like, you know, get a drink, get a snack. Then on Friday, like I said, we're doing Star Trek Endurance. Then on Saturday, I will be back with Vish and Kip. There we go. I almost said Chesh again instead of Kip, which would have been confusing.
I'm here with Chesh, Vish, Chesh, Kip.
Yeah. She'll somehow be there.
So I have to draw goblin versions of both Kip
right.
and Vishanti to make sure that like
if you did,
it's all in line.
I would totally use them in a thumb.
Okay.
So we're going to be continuing to try not to talk about Brian Thomas too much with your help, but Brian Thomas will be the basic topic. And then on Tuesday, the plan right now is Matt with Maddie. I do have to double check with Maddie, but she's almost always very much down. I think Matt with Maddie is one of her favorite days of the month because, I don't know, you and I don't get to hang out that much, just like Chesh and I don't get to hang out that much outside of this.
What day is the Steve video?
Thursday.
What time is it at?
Noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so after his video's out, I'll tell you what, I'll pony off of that one and I'll stream on Thursday and I will show you guys the contract that Steve sent me that he tried to coerce me into signing.
A contract which,
because I've never actually shown that and talked about it, so I have it.
I've seen it, and it very much violates California labor law. Big time.
Yep.
Yeah. So. All right, that is it for this. We're going to be starting up Godzilla versus Gigan in just a few minutes over on my Discord. So if you're interested in Godzilla versus Gigan, head over there. If you're not sure how to join the Discord because maybe you just got a membership or a Patreon membership, the way to do that is to go to your Discord, go to settings, go to connections, connect the account that should be giving you access, either your YouTube account that has the membership or your Patreon account, or both. And then down below where you connected those, there should be a list of servers, and mine should be on it. Click to join that server. If that doesn't work, please send me a message and we'll see if we can troubleshoot it. What I would ask that you not do, however, is ask me for a join link, because I do not give out the join link specifically because it disables various automatic functions that I want to keep enabled for your account, which includes, but is not limited to, kicking you out when you decide that you no longer want to be a member. So, you know, there we go.
Listen, sometimes, fuck off.
It's not that. It's just
don't subscribe, don't share with your friends.
No, do all of those
Never
things.
come by my channel, it's a trap.
Oh yeah, her channel, no, but do all of them for my channel. All right, bye everybody. We're going to get out of here. End credits. Furthermore, ICE must be abolished. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Benthovend, Tapioca Weasel, Max Cherry, North Texas Fossils, John Ackerman, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Phil Cavara, Kelvin Brostick Van Manen, Joshua Geese, Vollus, Dan Sheedy, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, and Gordon Loves Science. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.